All right, ready to tap into your artistic side?
Oh, absolutely.
Today we're diving deep into flower photography,
Awesome.
but here's the twist: we're using just our phones.
Love it. Accessible for everyone.
Exactly. No fancy equipment needed. You'll be amazed at the stunning shots you can get.
It's incredible what these little devices can do these days.
Right. To guide our deep dive, we've got two sources.
Okay.
A promo website
Uh-huh.
and the intro chapters from Flower Photography with mobile phones.
That's a great resource for beginners.
It is. By the end of this, you'll have the knowledge to go from, well, zero to Flower Photo Hero.
I love that.
And speaking of starting from zero, you might be surprised
What's that?
how much those early, potato quality phone cameras.
Oh, yeah, the ones where you could barely make out what you were taking a picture of.
Exactly.
That-
How much they paved the way for what we have now.
It's pretty wild, right?
It is. The ebook actually mentions that early phones had something like 0.3 megapixels.
0.3.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Ser-
Wow. That's crazy to think about compared to what we have now.
I know. And now we're talking 12, 48, even higher.
Yeah, the technology has come a long way.
But it's not just about the megapixels, right?
Right.
As the ebook points out, it's how this amazing tech,
Yeah.
how it's opened up photography for literally
And
everyone.
that's what's so exciting about it.
It is. And flowers? I mean, come on, they're the perfect subject to practice with.
They are. They're everywhere, constantly changing, so much variety.
And always beautiful.
Exactly. Speaking of change, it's fascinating how our understanding of, good image quality, right?
Uh-huh.
It's evolved alongside the technology.
Totally.
We're going to unpack that.
Please do.
But first, let's make sure,
Yeah.
we're speaking the same language here.
Yeah, good point.
When we talk about sensor size,
Mm.
resolution, megapixels, what do those actually mean?
Yeah, what do they mean for our flower photos?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, please explain it like I'm 5, because all the tech specs, it gets a bit overwhelming sometimes.
Totally, totally. Think of the sensor as the canvas for your photo,
Okay.
okay? A bigger sensor.
Uh-huh.
It generally means it can capture more light,
More light. Okay.
which is really important,
I bet.
especially if you're shooting in low light conditions.
Makes sense.
Like if you're, say, inside a greenhouse or during golden hour.
Ooh, golden hour. We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
All right, so that's sensor size. What about resolution and megapixels?
Okay, so resolution,
Uh-huh.
it's measured in megapixels,
Okay.
and that determines how much detail your picture can hold.
Okay. So more megapixels, more detail.
Exactly. Imagine you want to print like a giant poster of a sunflower, right?
Oh, yeah.
Higher resolution means you'll see those tiny details.
Ah, even when it's blown up huge.
Exactly.
Got it. So it's like, I'm thinking about design projects, right?
Yes.
You choose a higher resolution so it looks crisp no matter what size you're working with.
Exactly. The same concept applies here.
But the ebook mentioned that bigger isn't always better when it comes to sensors and megapixels, right?
Absolutely right.
So when is smaller better?
Sometimes a smaller sensor with larger individual pixels, those can actually perform better in certain situations. Yeah, it's kind of like choosing the right kind of paintbrush for your artwork.
Oh, interesting analogy.
Sometimes you need a fine-tipped brush for the details, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other times you need a broad brush for bold strokes.
I like that.
It's all about picking the right tool for the job.
I'm getting that sense that it's all about the right tools for the job.
Absolutely.
So it's like in any creative field.
For sure.
Speaking of tools, let's talk about lenses.
Yes.
I know phones have all these different lenses now.
So many to choose from.
I know it's kind of overwhelming. We've got
Ooh.
wide, ultra wide, telephoto. What's the deal with those?
Think of them like different perspectives.
Okay.
Your standard wide lens is great for your everyday flower shots.
Okay.
You want to capture a whole field of wildflowers.
Oh, yeah.
Ultra wide is your go-to.
Love it.
Now, telephoto lenses, those are like having built-in binoculars.
Oh, wow.
Perfect for zooming in on that one perfect balloon in the distance.
I love that analogy.
It really does help to visualize that one.
Yes. So we've got our sensor and our lens.
The foundation of a great photo.
Absolutely. What other camera features do we need to understand to really,
Unlock those creative possibilities.
Exactly, yeah. Unlock that potential.
Now we're getting into the heart of it.
Ooh, this is exciting.
Let's talk about the photography trifecta.
The trifecta.
Aperture, shutter speed, and ISO.
All right, break it down for me.
These are the elements that give you, the artist, control over the look and feel of your photos.
I like that, yeah. Taking control.
Exactly. So first up, aperture.
Aperture.
Aperture controls how much of the scene is in focus.
Okay.
Imagine you're taking a picture of a rose, right?
All right, I'm picturing a beautiful rose.
With a wide aperture.
Mhm.
The background will be blurry,
Ooh, I love that effect.
right? It makes the rose the star of the show.
Yeah, it really makes it pop.
It's like using depth of field to draw attention to the focal point,
That's a great comparison.
just like you would in design.
Yeah, exactly. I never realized you could get that kind of effect with just your phone.
It's pretty amazing.
It is.
Now imagine that same rose, but it's a windy day.
Oh no, my pedals?
Shutter speed is how fast your camera captures the image.
Okay.
A fast shutter speed will freeze the action.
So the pedals look perfectly still.
Exactly. But if you slow down the shutter speed,
Uh-huh.
you can create a dreamy, artistic blur that shows the movement of the wind.
That's so cool.
It's all about playing with different effects.
It's like choosing between, a still life and an action shot.
Precisely. And then there's ISO.
ISO, okay.
This is how sensitive your camera sensor is to light.
Sensitive to light, okay.
Think of it like adjusting the brightness on your phone screen.
Okay, I can visualize that.
If it's dark, you crank up the brightness.
Yeah, all the time.
But sometimes you get some graininess.
True, it can get a little fuzzy.
Same with your camera sensor. Higher ISO, more sensitive to light,
Okay,
but you might get some noise or grain in your photo.
that makes sense. So like everything, there's a trade-off.
Exactly. Every setting has its pros and cons.
Okay, I'm following.
The ebook uses a bunch of flower photo examples.
Oh, that's helpful.
It really brings those concepts to life.
I bet.
Like that shot of a tulip swaying in the wind
I remember that one.
with that beautiful motion blur.
Yeah.
That's all thanks to shutter speed.
Wow, that's awesome.
Mastering these fundamentals empowers you
Okay.
to move beyond auto mode
Mm-hmm.
and make intentional choices.
So you're not just point and shoot.
Exactly. It's about becoming a conscious creator.
I love that. So we've got these camera basics down,
We're off to a good start.
but both the ebook and the website promo keep emphasizing
What's that?
the importance of light.
And for good reason.
I'm sensing this is a big deal.
Light is everything in photography.
It's like the foundation of everything.
It shapes how we see the world,
Yeah.
understanding how to use it to your advantage. It's key to capturing truly breathtaking flower photos.
So let's talk about light.
We'll definitely delve into that next.
No, wait, can't wait.
It's going to be illuminating.
I'm sure it will be.
And when it comes to flowers, light can make or break a photo.
Totally.
You know, the difference between a so-so snapshot
Yeah.
and like a truly stunning image.
Okay, so let's talk about light then.
Let's do it.
Everyone talks about golden hour for photography.
Oh, golden hour, the magic hour.
But why is it so special, especially for flowers?
Well, golden hour, that magical time right after sunrise
Mhm.
and right before sunset,
Yeah.
it just bathes everything in this warm, diffused light.
Warm and diffused, okay.
It's like nature's softbox.
I like that. Nature's softbox.
The ebook actually mentions this, that this kind of light, it enhances the texture of the flowers,
Oh, interesting.
makes dewdrops glisten, and it brings out those intricate details.
So it's like having a built-in filter, basically.
That's a great way to put it, a natural filter.
Ah, that makes everything look amazing.
Exactly.
But, okay, what about when it's not golden hour?
That's a great question.
What if I see a gorgeous flower and I just have to capture it?
You got to seize the moment, right?
Yes, no matter the time of day.
That's where understanding different lighting conditions comes in.
Okay, so beyond golden hour.
The ebook actually has a whole section on this.
I was going to say they must have addressed this.
Overcast days, for example.
Oh, overcast days, yeah.
Those are like a flower photographer's secret weapon.
Really? Why is that?
The clouds act like a giant diffuser,
Okay.
creating this soft, even light.
So no harsh shadows.
Exactly. It's perfect for capturing delicate details
So overcast days, good for details.
without those harsh shadows.
It's like having a professional lighting setup, but for free.
Yeah. Mother Nature provides the best lighting.
Amazing. But, okay, what about sunny days?
Sunny days.
Those can be tricky, right?
Yeah, sunny days can be a little more challenging.
Yeah.
But they also offer these amazing opportunities for creative play.
Okay, so there's potential there.
The ebook talks about using those strong contrasts to your advantage.
Oh, interesting. The strong contrast.
Yeah.
Okay, give me an example.
Imagine a bright red poppy
Yeah.
against a deep green background.
Oh, yeah. I can see it.
The colors just pop, right?
The colors pop because of the contrast.
It's all about understanding how light interacts with different colors and textures.
It all comes back to light.
Yeah, and the ebook even gives tips
Okay, good.
on how to handle harsh sunlight.
Oh, that's helpful because, yeah.
Things like, using a reflector
A reflector, okay.
to bounce light back onto your subject,
So it's not so harsh.
or finding ways to position the flower
Oh, okay.
so that the
Right.
light creates these interesting shadows.
I like that, yeah.
playing with the light and shadow.
That's so clever. It's like we're learning to become like light manipulators.
We're harnessing the power of light.
I love it. But okay, before we go full-on lighting wizard,
Okay.
let's talk about something I'm super excited about.
What's that?
Macro photography.
I knew you were going to say that.
I love those close-up shots
Me too. They're amazing.
of flowers. They're mind-blowing. It's like seeing a whole new world.
They really are.
It's like you're seeing things that you've never even noticed before.
Yeah, like you're discovering hidden treasures.
Totally.
Yeah.
So how do we get those amazing macro shots with just our phones?
That's a great question.
Because I've tried, and
No.
they don't always work.
Well, luckily, a lot of phones now have a built-in macro mode.
They do.
Yeah. It's usually indicated by, like, a little flower icon.
Oh, I gotta look for that.
Yeah, see if your phone has it.
Okay.
Just switch to that mode and get up close and personal.
Okay, so just get in there with your subject.
That sounds pretty easy. It is.
What if my phone doesn't have that, though?
Good question.
Or what if I want to take things a step further?
Well, in that case,
Yeah.
that's where external macro lenses come in.
External lenses. Okay.
These little clip-on lenses.
Yeah.
They attach to your phone's camera,
Uh-huh.
and they magnify the image,
Yeah. Right.
revealing those incredible details.
You wouldn't normally see.
Exactly. It's like a whole new level of detail.
That's awesome. But I always assumed those external lenses were, like, really expensive.
You'd be surprised.
Would I?
The ebook mentions you can find really good quality
Oh,
clip-on macro lenses for under $20.
really? Under $20? That's not bad.
It's a pretty accessible way to up your macro game.
I might have to try that. But there's one thing I've always struggled with when it comes to macro photography.
What's that?
It's keeping things sharp.
Oh, yeah, I hear you.
It feels like the slightest movement just ruins the whole shot.
You're right. Stability is key,
Stability, okay.
especially in macro photography.
So how do I get more stable?
But don't worry, the ebook has some great tips for that.
Oh, good, because I need tips.
They recommend using a tripod,
Okay, a tripod.
even a mini one that can wrap around branches.
Oh, so that's a good idea. Yeah.
Or just finding ways to brace your phone against a solid object.
Make it steady.
They even suggest using a stack of books
Oh, a stack of books. Classic.
as a makeshift tripod.
Yeah, why not?
It's all about being resourceful.
It is, and if I have a stack of books, I'm ready to go.
Exactly.
And then there's that more advanced technique we talked about earlier.
You mean focus stacking.
Yes. Focus stacking, that one.
That's a game changer.
I'm intrigued.
For macro photography,
Okay.
imagine taking multiple pictures
Okay.
of the same flower,
Mm-hmm.
each one focused on a slightly different area,
Different areas. Okay.
and then using software
Yeah.
to merge them into one image
Oh, wow.
where every detail is perfectly sharp.
So it's like a panorama,
Kind
but
of.
for sharpness instead of width.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a panorama for sharpness.
That's incredible. I did not know that was possible.
It's pretty amazing what you can do these days.
I need to learn this.
It's worth exploring.
So where do I start?
The ebook provides like step-by-step instructions
Oh, perfect.
on how to do focus stacking.
Okay.
And there are even apps that can handle it right on your phone.
Right on my phone, okay? I am sold.
It's definitely worth checking out.
This is making me so excited to go out and experiment with macro.
I know, it's like opening up this whole new world.
It is. It's like a whole new world waiting to be discovered.
Exactly. So many hidden wonders to capture.
Okay, but once we've captured those stunning shots,
Yeah.
there's that other step.
That can feel a little daunting.
Yeah, a little bit.
You're talking about editing.
Yes, editing, exactly.
I know a lot of people feel like editing is somehow cheating,
Yeah, I've heard that.
but the ebook makes it clear.
Okay.
It's an essential part of the process.
Not cheating.
Not at all.
So convince me.
Editing is like those finishing touches
Okay.
that elevate your photos from, good to great.
I like that.
It's not about faking anything.
No, it's enhancing.
It's about bringing out the best in your images.
Okay, so more about enhancement than alteration.
Exactly. It's about expressing your unique artistic vision.
Okay, I can get behind that.
And the ebook breaks down those editing techniques
Okay, good.
in a way that's super easy to
So
understand.
it's not too technical.
Not at all. They talk about cropping,
Cropping, yes.
adjusting exposure, color correction,
Oh, yeah, those are important.
and sharpening.
Okay.
All things you can do right on your phone.
See, you don't need fancy software or anything.
Exactly. It's very accessible.
I actually love cropping.
Cropping is so powerful.
I know. It's amazing how simply changing the composition of a photo,
Yeah.
it can completely transform its impact.
It can totally change the story you're telling.
Yeah, and it's so easy to do on your phone.
It's one of those simple but effective techniques.
It is.
It can help you eliminate distractions, emphasize your subject, and just create a more balanced composition overall.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree.
The ebook has some great examples
Oh, perfect.
of how to use cropping effectively for flower photos.
I'll have to check those out.
And then there's exposure,
Exposure. Yeah.
which is, essential
For what?
for making sure your photos have that right brightness and contrast.
Okay, if it's too dark or too bright.
Yeah, you got to find that balance.
Makes sense.
Sometimes a photo just needs a little boost
Okay.
to bring out those details.
Yeah, to really make them pop,
And sometimes it needs to be toned down.
to create a certain mood.
Exactly.
Okay, and what about color correction?
Color correction is so key.
I feel like that's a tricky one
It can be
because sometimes the
But-
colors in a photo don't quite match.
what you saw with your own eyes.
Yes, exactly.
That's where color correction comes in.
Okay, so how does it help?
It helps you adjust the colors in your photo to either make them more true to life
Right.
or to create a specific mood or style.
Oh, so you can get creative with it.
Absolutely. It's all about how you want the photo to feel.
And then there's sharpening.
Sharpening, yeah.
I think that's especially important for macro shots,
I agree.
where you really want to see those tiny details.
Sharpening helps make everything crisp and clear.
Yeah, to really make those details stand out.
But it's important not to overdo it.
Right. You don't want to go too far.
The ebook gives some great tips
Okay, good. I'll need those.
on finding that sweet spot.
The sweet spot of sharpness.
Oh,
Okay.
Exactly.
This is making me want to go back and re-edit all my old flower photos.
I know, right?
It's like a whole new set of tools.
It's like leveling up your editing skills.
It is, yeah. Okay, but even with the best editing skills,
Yeah.
there are still those real-world challenges.
Right. Mother Nature throws us curveballs.
She does, yeah. That
Yeah.
come with photographing nature.
And the ebook actually dedicates a whole chapter
I was going to say, they must address this.
to overcoming those challenges.
Okay, so what kind of challenges?
Well, things like wind,
Wind? Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
harsh sunlight, even choosing the right flowers to photograph.
Okay, so a lot to cover.
There's a lot to consider when you're out in the field.
Speaking of wind,
Okay.
I feel like that's the bane of every flower photographer's existence.
Those delicate petals.
I know, they just won't stay still.
What tips does the ebook have for dealing with wind?
Yeah, I need all the help I can get.
Well, they suggest a few things.
Okay.
First, timing is everything.
Oh, timing, okay.
Look for those brief moments of stillness
Between gusts.
between those gusts of wind.
Okay, so patience is key.
They also recommend using barriers,
Barriers? Like what?
even just your body,
Oh, interesting.
to create a little pocket of calm around your subject.
So block the wind a little bit.
Exactly. And if all else fails,
Uh-oh. If all else fails.
embrace the movement.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes a little blur can actually add to the artistic effect.
That's a good point.
It's about working with nature, not against it.
I like that.
Right.
Actually, some of my favorite shots have been when I just let the wind do its thing.
Sometimes those happy accidents turn into the best photos.
Totally. But what about choosing the right flowers to photograph?
That's a good question.
Any advice on that?
Well, there's a great section in the ebook on embracing imperfections.
Oh, embracing imperfections. I like that.
Yeah, it's a good reminder.
What's the main takeaway there?
The point is that, perfection isn't the goal.
It's not about perfection. is it?
Sometimes a slightly wilted petal or like a quirky leaf,
Yeah.
it adds character and it tells a story.
It makes it unique.
It does. It makes it stand out.
Okay, so embrace those imperfections.
Imperfections are beautiful.
That's a good reminder. But what about when you find the perfect flower,
Okay.
but the lighting is all wrong?
That happens all the time.
It does. What do you do with harsh sunlight?
Well, the ebook, it kind of circles back to that idea
Okay.
of being a light manipulator.
Becoming a light manipulator. Okay.
They suggest using shadows
The
creatively,
native shadows. Okay.
finding ways to position your subject
Yeah.
so that the light falls in these interesting ways.
At least you can use it to your advantage.
Exactly. You can use it to create drama and depth.
I like that.
And they even talk about using things
Like what?
like a white sheet or a piece of cardboard
Okay.
as a makeshift reflector.
So it's like a DIY reflector.
Bounce light back onto the flower.
So again, being resourceful.
It's all about working with what you have
I love it. So it's all about seeing challenges
Yeah.
as opportunities.
to get creative.
Exactly. To get creative. I like that.
Sometimes limitations can actually spark the most innovative solutions.
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's all about thinking outside the box.
This is blowing my mind. It's like we're learning to think
Yeah.
like professional photographers.
You are. You're absorbing all this knowledge.
I am, but just using our phones.
And that's the beauty of it, right?
Right.
You don't need expensive equipment to create amazing art.
I'm so glad for my wallet's sake.
It's all about understanding those fundamentals and applying those creative techniques.
Okay, so fundamentals plus creativity.
That's the recipe for success.
Got it. Now for the part I've been waiting for.
I know what you're going to say.
Let's dive into those creative techniques
Okay.
that take flower photography beyond the basics.
Beyond the basics, yes.
And into, the realm of art.
Into the artistic realm. I love it.
This is where it gets really interesting.
It does.
Okay, hit me with those creative tips.
We're going to talk about playing with perspectives, incorporating natural elements, and even experimenting with abstract techniques.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, so we've covered the technical stuff,
Yeah.
the lighting, the editing.
We've laid a good foundation.
We have.
Now for the fun part.
It is the fun part. Now let's unleash our inner artists.
Yes.
I'm especially intrigued by the play with perspective section.
Oh, perspective is everything.
It is, right. It changes how you see things.
It's how you frame the world through your lens, literally.
The ebook focuses on two main approaches
Okay.
for flower photography:
Uh-huh.
shooting from below
Okay, yeah. Low angle.
and shooting from above.
Getting that bird's eye view.
Ooh, I love those low angle shots.
They're so dramatic.
They are, where the flower seems to be, like,
Reaching for the sky
yes, reaching for the sky. I love that.
makes them look so grand.
What's the impact of that perspective, besides looking cool?
It makes the flower seem like grand, almost heroic.
Heroic. Okay, yeah, I can see that.
It emphasizes its height,
Uh-huh.
and it can make it really stand out
Oh, okay.
against the background.
Like it's the star.
Exactly. Think of, like, a sunflower
A sunflower.
towering above you
Yeah.
with the sun shining through its petals.
Oh, that's beautiful imagery.
That's the power of a long-angle shot.
That is powerful. And what about shooting from above?
Shooting from above is all about patterns and symmetry.
Patterns and symmetry, okay.
Imagine a field of tulips, all lined up in perfect rows,
Oh, yeah.
or a rose with its petals spiraling outwards.
I can picture it.
That's what you can capture from above.
It's like a different kind of beauty.
It is. It's about appreciating the details.
I'm already picturing all sorts of creative
But
possibilities.
love it. Let those creative juices flow.
But what about when you want to, add a little something extra?
A little extra flair.
Yeah, the ebook mentions incorporating natural elements.
Natural elements can add so much depth and dimension.
Give me an example.
Think dewdrops,
Dewdrops.
raindrops, sunlight streaks.
Ooh, those are good ones.
Those are like nature's special effects.
I was going to say, it's like adding those subtle textures.
Exactly.
Or like light flares.
Totally. It's all about creating a mood and atmosphere.
Exactly. So what kind of effect do those natural elements have then?
Dewdrops create a sense of delicate beauty
Okay.
and freshness. Yeah, I can see that.
Imagine a single dewdrop clinging to a rose petal,
Yeah, beautiful.
catching the morning light.
Ooh, it's like a little jewel.
It is. And then raindrops,
Raindrops, yeah.
those can add a touch of drama and movement,
Drama and movement, interesting.
especially if you capture them like falling
Oh, that would be cool.
midair.
I've never thought to capture that.
It's a fun challenge.
And sunlight streaks.
Sunlight streaks, those can create an ethereal, almost magical feel.
Magical. Okay, yeah.
Like a beam of light
Yeah.
shining through a forest canopy.
I'm getting like fairy tale vibes.
Exactly. It's all about evoking those emotions.
Okay, before we move on,
Yeah.
I have to ask about those abstract flower photography techniques
Oh, yeah, those are fun.
mentioned in the ebook.
Uh-huh.
Zoom bursts and motion blur. Those sound so cool.
They are super cool. And you can achieve some really unique effects.
Okay, break it down for me.
Zoom bursts, they create this sense of energy and movement.
Okay, so like the flowers exploding outwards. Exactly. It's like a burst of energy.
And how do you do that?
You achieve that effect by zooming in or out
While taking the picture.
while you're taking the photo, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all about the timing.
Oh, okay. So it takes some practice.
It does, but it's worth experimenting with.
And motion blur.
Motion blur can be achieved either by, moving the camera intentionally.
Okay, so you're creating the blur.
You're in control of the blur.
Okay.
Or by capturing the natural movement of the flower.
Oh, so like those dreamy shots we were talking about?
Exactly. Like those wildflowers swaying in the wind.
I can see that. That's beautiful.
It's all about capturing the essence of the flower.
This has been an incredible deep dive
It has been fun.
into the creative side of flower photography.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I feel like I've learned so much.
That's what we aim for.
And I'm so ready to go out and put all this knowledge into practice.
Yes, that's the most important thing, to actually get out there and start shooting.
Go from theory to practice.
Exactly. Experiment, play around, have fun.
Yeah, don't be afraid to break the rules.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how you learn and grow as a photographer.
Mistakes are part of the process.
Absolutely. Every mistake is a learning opportunity.
I love that. It's all about embracing the journey and capturing the beauty that surrounds us.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And remember, just like nature itself, photography is a constant process.
Of growth and change.
Exactly. It's always evolving.
Embrace the journey, and you'll be amazed at what you can create.
Well said. On that note,
Okay.
we'll wrap up this deep dive into the wonderful world of flower photography.
Until next time,
Go out there and capture some floral magic.
happy shooting.